Hello, well, today I'm going to talk about in the buckets of love, the fun bucket. Yes, remember how you used to have lots of fun? You might still be having lots of fun. I hope so. The fun bucket's really important, the sense of humour, having fun together. It brings a lightness to the relationship and it's very loving to be having fun with each other. I feel that when we first start in the relationship, there's probably a lot of fun and we're mucking around and being silly and chasing each other around the house and all those wonderful things we do. However, in time, as we settle into a home and go to work and have to do the gardening and cook the dinner and pick up the kids, sometimes the fun bucket can be lowering and getting less. And I think you might want to look at this. Of course, there's probably one person who's a bit more fun than the other. It's rare for people to be equal in that quality. However, if you started off when you were having a lot of fun, but now it's pretty like grumpy time, I think you might want to start looking at that bucket because it makes a big difference to lightening up the house, lightening up the relationship. Love is much more common when there's lots of fun going around and you're all laughing and love is in the air, as they say. However, once the grouchy bucket comes along and everyone's grouchy and testy and difficult and there's not much fun in the house, I think you'll find things sort of go down. Usually if there's starting to become problems within your relationship too, you won't be having as much fun. It'll become quite severe the way it is at home and probably not too much laughing in the house. People are in moods with each other and people are not being maybe so kind to each other or as loving, and I think you might want to have a look at that. The love bucket is a great bucket, but the fun bucket's pretty important too. And if you're not in having fun and having lightness and joy and happiness and all the things that fun brings with it in your home and in your relationship, you might want to start sort of filling that up, because that's where there's a lot of healing. If you've had a fight and then you make a joke and start throwing pillows at each other or being stupid, it makes the fight less strong in the sense that it's going to really knock your relationship down. And it's also part of letting things go, not being happy with each other. You had an argument and now you're just going to let that go, and then you're going to watch a funny movie or muck around with the children or have friends over and have a lot of fun. I think it's also hard if you're with somebody who can be fun with other people and then comes home and is the grouch. I think some people are married to people like that, or they live with them. That when they're out with them, the person's all very jovial and laughing and Mr. Wonderful, Mrs. Wonderful, and so friendly and happy and friendly, and then you bring them home in the car and it's very quiet, and by the time you get them home you've got this miserable old thing sitting on your couch. And I think that it's about making an effort. Making fun is also making an effort, and having a sense of humour and joking around is making an effort. It's a really valuable way to connect to other people. When we are laughing, we're making connection, and when we're making a joke, we're making connection. And even when we're playing some naughty practical jokes, we're making a connection. You can play practical jokes on people and make them laugh. Half the fun of practical jokes is waiting for the joke to happen. Also, it's great fun when you're making the joke and you're planning it all and everyone's hiding in secret and doing it. So try and put more fun into your relationship. Make a joke, have a laugh, watch some funny videos, do some stupid things, be a bit silly again like you used to be, chase each other in the bedroom or whatever you used to do to make you laugh. I think you've got to bring that back in because it can dampen off, and I've seen that happen, and people are just like really grouchy now with each other all the time, and that's actually the language they're using. They're using the language of grouchiness and not the language of fun. And life is difficult enough, and there are enough things that aren't fun, and there are enough sad and distressing things that we have to deal with in life. And sometimes a sense of humour is the way to get through it. You can make a joke about something that is probably irreverent, or maybe you shouldn't make a joke about the situation, but it can it can break the ice. And I think you might need to look at that this is like an icebreaker. Having a laugh, sense of humour, making a joke, being silly is an icebreaker, and it will break the ice. And you'll actually notice some people are very skilled at doing this. They'll be in a situation, you can feel the tension coming up, and then they say something really funny, and then it distracts everyone laughs, but it actually energetically breaks the tension. Therefore, when you get in these situations, there might be some times when you can use humour as a way out and not go to the heavy place and go to the fun place. Our humour also changes. I think as we get older, it can change. So you need to be adjusting to how you've changed and they've changed. I think that you might laugh at different things with different people, and with your partner, you might have a different sense of humour to them. But there will be a little humour and a fun bucket that you have both shared, and you'll have your own little personal jokes that you'll say, or little personal things that you say that the other person will understand, and you need to bring those back in. It's like a language. Humour is a language that we use, and it's a language that we use which makes us feel better and makes us feel happy, and it's also great for the memory banks. So the funny things that happen land up being the happy memories, and that's another way in your relationship to bring a little bit more fun in. For example, if your dog has just jumped on the counter and taken out the Christmas chicken the morning of Christmas and taken to the backyard, and this is a true story, and eaten the actual lunch meal, you can have your horror look at the beginning, but then later when you settle down and you get over the whole thing, it makes a fabulous funny story about when the dog stole the Christmas chicken. We had that also happen with an Easter egg on Easter Sunday when every shop was closed, and the dog jumped up and ate one of the children's Easter eggs, and there was much crying and wailing because you couldn't replace it. But now it makes a funny story. So that's the other thing. You're actually creating memories, and try and create more funny memories in your life, in your relationship, and also talk about those things. You see, you have a history of funny things that have happened, and you can lighten up your life and lighten up your relationship by saying, remember when that happened, remember when this happened, because that's part of your history and that's part of your bucket. They're all the fun things that happened in your bucket. Don't get old and get grouchy. Get old and get more fun and be more fun and see the funny side of things. And that's also being positive, because when you are humorless and cranky, you are negative. And some people, as they get older, unfortunately, and even within their relationship, the relationship becomes more negative, and that's where humour and fun will actually lift it up, because humour is a very positive energy, and it can actually break and also lift you out of that negativity that you might be getting into. Of course, there are times that are very difficult and we are feeling terrible, but even within that, sometimes there's some funny little things that happen, and you might want to focus on that rather than all the negative. So try and fill up this bucket. It's really, really important, particularly if you're a person who has a good sense of humour and laughs a lot. And that's the other thing, to make sure that you laugh more and make your partner laugh and do silly things and make them laugh, because that's also a stress breaker. If someone's very stressed and very tense and you do something stupid, even if it's as stupid as squirting them with a water pistol when they don't expect it, and they're screaming and laughing, that breaks the tension in them and lightens up their whole being and makes for fun, and then they come and get you back. It's a bit like being a little bit like your child, because we've got in us the parent and the adult and the child, and sometimes the adult and the parent are doing it tough. So let the child in you have fun and make some joy and make some happiness in your life. I think you understand what I mean about the fun bucket. If you're a person who likes to have fun and joke around, then you will feel that this is really missing. Like this might be something that's really important, and later on when we talk in the podcast about looking at what your needs are, what buckets are important to you, this might be actually a bucket that's actually quite important to you, to be with someone that you can have fun with, because fun people are usually able to be bringing a lot of positive energy in, and you'll even find people who are having a really terrible negative time can be really quite funny. Work on this one, fill it up, talk to your partner about it, about having a little bit more fun and joking around a little bit more and seeing the funny side of things. Life wasn't meant to be all miserable. There's enough difficulty and challenges in life, and it's up to us to lighten it up and to make our load not so heavy, and humour is the way to do it. Look at your fun bucket and see if you can increase it, because I suspect that this is one bucket that when troubles come in tends to get neglected, and this is maybe a bucket that we need to fill up when troubles come in. So I'm sending you lots of love, and I hope you have a funny week.